Welcome back to the conclusion of She Hid Her All Fantasies from the Alpha King, until he lost control. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, stop right now and go back to our channel to watch it first. Trust me, you need to see how Celeste and Daemon's forbidden bond began, how the Alpha King lost control for the first time in his life, and how a vengeful ex-fiancée threatened to destroy everything they've built. Go watch part 1 now. I'll wait. For those of you who are caught up, Celeste's coronation is tomorrow. A traitor is hiding in the fortress, and Daemon's enemies are circling like wolves around wounded prey. But what nobody knows, not even Daemon himself, is that Celeste's gift is evolving. She's starting to see more than just fantasies. She's seeing the future. And what she sees in the hours before her coronation will force her to make an impossible choice. Save the man she loves, or save the entire realm. Before we dive into this dark, twisted conclusion, hit that like button right now if you're ready for betrayals, revelations, and a plot twist that will leave you speechless. Subscribe for more dark romance stories that push every boundary. And drop a comment telling me, Team Daemon or Team Raven. Let's find out who survives the coronation. Now, let's descend into the darkness one final time. The night before the coronation, Celeste couldn't sleep. She lay in the Queen's chambers, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with everything that could go wrong. The traitor, Raven's threats, the dozens of alphas who would be attending, many of whom wanted her dead. Finally, she gave up on sleep and went to the window. The moon was full and bright, casting silver light across the fortress grounds. And as Celeste stared at it, she heard a voice, the same voice she'd been hearing since she was 16. "Daughter," the moon goddess whispered, "your gift is changing." Celeste's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "Touch the moonlight. Let me show you what's coming." Against a better judgment, Celeste reached out and placed a palm against the window where the moonlight pooled brightest. The glass was cool beneath her fingers. And then the vision hit her. She saw the coronation ceremony. Saw herself in the white and silver gown, standing before Daemon as he placed the crown on her head. Saw the gathered alphas watching with expressions ranging from respect to barely concealed hatred. Then she saw the attack. It came from everywhere at once. Wolves shifting mid-ceremony. Screams. Blood. Daemon fighting desperately to reach her, but there were too many enemies. Someone grabbed Celeste from behind, a knife at her throat. The vision shifted. Now she saw Daemon in chains, kneeling before a throne that wasn't his. Raven stood over him, smiling that cruel smile. "You chose love over power," Raven said in the vision. "And now you've lost both." The vision shifted again. This time she saw something that made her blood run cold. She saw herself, but not as she was. This version of Celeste was glowing with silver light, her eyes pure white. She stood in a circle of dead wolves, her hands covered in blood. And she was laughing. "This is what you'll become," the moon goddess whispered, "if you let your gift consume you. The power to see fantasies is just the beginning, Celeste. Your true gift is the power to make fantasies real. To pull them from minds and make them manifest in the physical world. But that power comes with a price." "What price?" Celeste gasped. "Your sanity. Your humanity. Your soul." The moon goddess's voice was sad. "Every fantasy you manifest will take a piece of you. Use it too much, and you'll become nothing but a vessel for others' darkest desires. You'll lose yourself completely." "Then I won't use it," Celeste said desperately. "You'll have to. Tomorrow, when the attack comes, it's the only thing that will save Daemon's life. You'll have to choose, daughter. Save the man you love and risk losing yourself, or let him die and keep your soul intact." The vision released her abruptly. Celeste stumbled back from the window, gasping. Her hands were shaking. Her mind was reeling. She had the power to make fantasies real, to pull desires from people's minds and manifest them in reality. And if she used that power tomorrow to save Daemon, she would start losing pieces of herself. But what choice did she have? She couldn't let him die. She wouldn't. Even if it cost her everything. Dawn came, and with it, the last day before everything changed. Celeste went to the training grounds as usual, but this time she had a purpose. If she was going to use her gift during the attack, and she knew now that she would have to, she needed to understand it better. She needed to test it. Daemon was already waiting, but today he looked different. Tense. Worried. "You look like you didn't sleep," he observed. "I didn't," Celeste admitted. "I had a vision. Of sorts." Daemon's eyes narrowed. What kind of vision? Celeste hesitated. Should she tell him? Should she reveal that an attack was coming, that she had a power she'd never told him about, that she might lose herself trying to save him? "Celeste," Daemon said, and his voice was gentler now. "Whatever it is, tell me. We face everything together, remember?" So she told him. All of it. The moon goddess's warning. The vision of the attack. The revelation about her true gift. And the terrible choice she would have to make. When she finished, Daemon was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "You're not using that power." "Daemon." "I'm serious, Celeste. If using your gift will destroy you, then you're not using it. I'll handle the attack myself." "You can't handle dozens of enemies alone," Celeste said. "Not when they're coordinated. Not when they have the element of surprise." The vision was clear. "Daemon. If I don't intervene, you die." "Then I die," Daemon said flatly. "But I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me. That's not your choice to make." "Yes, it is." Daemon's voice rose. "I'm the Alpha King. Your safety is my responsibility. And I'm telling you, ordering you, not to use that power tomorrow. No matter what happens." Celeste felt anger flare in her chest. "You don't get to order me around like one of your warriors. We're supposed to be partners, Daemon. Equals." "We're not equals," Daemon said, and his voice was harsh. "Not yet. Not until you're crowned queen. Until then, I'm your king, and you'll obey me. Is that really what you think?" Celeste's voice was dangerously quiet. "That I'm just another subject for you to command? That our bond means nothing unless there's a crown on my head?" Daemon's expression cracked. "That's not what Celeste, I'm trying to protect you. By treating me like a child? By making decisions for me?" Celeste shook her head. "That's not protection, Daemon. That's control. And if you can't see the difference, then maybe Raven was right. Maybe you're not capable of real love. Maybe you just want someone you can control." The words hung in the air like poison. Daemon looked like she'd physically struck him. "You don't mean that." "Don't I?" Celeste was trembling now, anger and fear and frustration all mixed together. "You say you love me, but the moment I try to make my own choice, the moment I try to protect you the way you're always protecting me, you shut me down. You give me orders. You treat me like I'm helpless. Because you are helpless against what's coming." Daemon roared, and his eyes blazed red. "You're untrained. Unprepared. And if you use this power you've just discovered, you could lose yourself completely. So yes, I'm giving you orders. Yes, I'm controlling this situation. Because that's what I do, Celeste. I control things. It's the only way I know how to protect what I love. The confession hung between them. Then learn a new way, Celeste said quietly. Because control isn't love, demon. Trust is. And if you can't trust me to make my own choices, even dangerous ones, then what do we really have? Demon stared at her, his chest heaving. Then, slowly, the red faded from his eyes. You're right, he said hoarsely. You're absolutely right. I'm doing exactly what I swore I wouldn't do. I'm trying to control you. He ran a hand through his hair, looking suddenly exhausted. I'm scared, Celeste. I'm terrified. In my entire life, I've never been afraid of anything. But the thought of losing you, of watching you destroy yourself trying to save me, it's the only thing that's ever truly frightened me. And I don't know how to handle it except by trying to control everything. Celeste felt her anger drain away. She moved closer to him, taking his hands. I'm scared too, she admitted. But we can't let fear make our choices for us. Tomorrow, if the attack comes, I'll do what I have to do. And yes, it might cost me. But demon, you're worth that cost. You're worth everything. You're not, demon said, and when she started to protest, he pressed a finger to her lips. You're worth more than everything, Celeste. You're worth more than my life. More than my throne. More than my entire realm. And if I have to choose between keeping you safe and keeping myself alive, I'll choose you. Every single time. Then we're at an impasse, Celeste said. Because I'll always choose you too. Demon pulled her close, holding her like she might disappear. We're a pair of idiots, aren't we? The biggest, Celeste agreed. But we're idiots together. They stood like that for a long time, drawing strength from each other. Finally, Demon said, if you use your power tomorrow, promise me one thing. What? Promise me you'll stop before you lose yourself completely. Promise me that if you feel yourself slipping, you'll pull back. Even if it means I'm in danger. Even if it means... I promise, Celeste interrupted. I won't lose myself, demon. I won't become that thing I saw in the vision. I'll use just enough power to turn the tide, and then I'll stop. You have my word. Demon searched her face, then nodded slowly. Okay, I'll trust you. I'll trust your judgment. But Goddess help us both if this goes wrong. It won't, Celeste said with more confidence than she felt. Now, are we going to train, or are we going to stand here being dramatic? Demon actually laughed at that. A real laugh that made him look years younger. Train. Definitely train. Because even if you have goddess-given powers, you still need to know how to throw a proper punch. They spent the next 2 hours training harder than ever before. And when it was over, Celeste was bruised and exhausted but also more confident. She could handle herself in a fight. Not perfectly, but enough to survive long enough to use her gift if necessary. As they walked back toward the fortress together, Demon said quietly, "Whatever happens tomorrow, I want you to know something." "What?" "I love you," Demon said, and the words sounded like they'd been torn from somewhere deep inside him. "I've never said that to anyone before. I've never even felt it before. But I love you, Celeste Ravenna. And tomorrow when I make you my queen, it won't be about politics or strategy or protecting you. It'll be because I can't imagine ruling without you beside me." Celeste felt tears prick her eyes. "I love you too," she whispered. "More than I ever thought possible. More than I knew I could love anyone." They kissed there in the hallway, soft and sweet and desperate all at once. and neither of them noticed the figure watching from the shadows, taking notes, preparing to send word to their master. The attack was set. The traitor had done their job. And in less than 12 hours, everything would change. The coronation ceremony was set for midday. Celeste woke early and allowed herself to be dressed by a team of servants. The gown was breathtaking. White silk with silver embroidery that caught the light like captured moonbeams. Her hair was arranged in an elaborate style with small diamonds woven throughout. The crown that would be placed on her head sat on a velvet cushion nearby, delicate but heavy with symbolism. She looked like a queen. She felt like an imposter. "You're beautiful," one of the servants breathed. "The Alpha King won't be able to take his eyes off you." If we survive the ceremony, Celeste thought but didn't say. She'd been watching everyone carefully all morning, using her regular gift, the one to see fantasies, on anyone who got close enough to touch. She'd accidentally brushed against servants, guards, even a few council members. And what she'd seen in their minds was disturbing. Most of them fantasized about normal things: power, wealth, love. But 3 of them had fantasies that set off alarm bells. Fantasies about chaos, about blood, about watching the fortress burn. Traitors. Not just 1, but 3. And Celeste had no way to tell Daemon without revealing that she'd been using her gift against his explicit orders. At noon, the bells began to ring. It was time. Celeste was escorted to the great hall by an honor guard of 6 warriors. The hall was packed with hundreds of wolves, alphas from every pack, their advisors, representatives from allied kingdoms. At the far end, on a raised platform, stood Daemon in formal black and silver, looking every inch the Alpha King. Their eyes met across the distance, and Celeste saw the love there, the pride, the barely concealed fear. "I'll keep you safe," his expression said. "And I'll keep you safe," Celeste's replied. The ceremony began. Celeste walked down the long aisle, aware of every eye on her. She heard the whispers, some approving, most not. "She's nobody. Not even from a ranked family. The king has lost his mind." But Celeste kept her head high and her eyes on Daemon. Nothing else mattered. Not the opinions of strangers. Not the politics. Not even the danger she knew was coming. Only him. She reached the platform and climbed the steps. Daemon took her hands, and the touch sent electricity through her. The mate bond hummed between them, stronger than ever. The high priest stepped forward and began the traditional words. "We gather today to witness the coronation of Celeste Ravenna, chosen mate of Alpha King Daemon Nightshade, and future queen of the werewolf realm. Let any who would oppose this union speak now, or be forever bound to accept it." Silence. For a moment, Celeste dared to hope. Maybe the vision was wrong. Maybe. "I oppose." The voice rang out from the back of the hall. Everyone turned. And there, standing with 20 of her warriors, was Raven Blackthorn. "This union is a travesty," Raven declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the hall. "The Alpha King has chosen a mate unworthy of the crown. A nobody with no bloodline, no power, no value to the realm. I challenge this coronation on the grounds that Celeste Ravenna is unfit to be queen." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some looked scandalized. Others looked intrigued. A few looked pleased. Daemon's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "Your challenge is noted and dismissed, Alpha Raven. You have no authority here." "Don't I?" Raven smiled coldly. "According to pack law, any alpha may challenge a coronation if they can prove the candidate is unworthy. And I can prove it. Celeste Ravenna has a gift she's been hiding. A dangerous gift. one that makes her a threat to every wolf in this realm. Celeste's blood ran cold. How did Raven know about her gift? She can see fantasies, Raven continued, her voice rising. She can invade minds, see our deepest desires, our darkest secrets. And now, according to my sources, she's developed the power to make those fantasies real. To twist reality itself according to her will. Is that the kind of power we want in a queen? Is that the kind of wolf we want with access to the throne? The hall erupted in chaos. Alphas were shouting, some in outrage at the accusation, others in agreement. Daemon's hand tightened on Celeste's. How do you know about my gift? Celeste called out, her voice carrying despite the noise. Because my spy has been watching you, Raven said smugly. My spy who's been in this fortress for years, feeding me information, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And that moment is now. She raised her hand, and Celeste saw 3 figures step forward from different parts of the crowd. The 3 traitors she'd identified earlier. All of them shifted into wolf form simultaneously. Attack! Raven screamed. And all hell broke loose. The 3 traitor wolves launched themselves at the platform. Daemon shifted instantly, his massive black wolf intercepting the first attacker mid-leap. They collided with bone-crushing force and went tumbling off the platform. The other 2 wolves were heading straight for Celeste. She didn't think. She reacted. Her training with Daemon kicked in. When the first wolf leaped at her, she dropped and rolled, letting its momentum carry it past her. The second wolf was smarter. It feinted left, then came in low, going for her legs. Celeste kicked out, catching it in the jaw. It yelped and stumbled, giving her just enough time to grab a ceremonial sword from one of the frozen honor guards. She'd never held a real sword before. The weight was different from training weapons. But she didn't have time to adjust. The wolves were coming at her again. All around the hall, chaos reigned. Raven's 20 warriors had shifted and were attacking Daemon's guards. The gathered alphas were either joining the fight or trying to evacuate their people. Blood spattered the pristine floor. Daemon was fighting like a demon, taking on multiple attackers at once. But there were too many. Even his incredible strength had limits. And that's when Celeste felt it. The pull. The power the moon goddess had warned her about, rising up inside her like a tide. She could feel the fantasies of everyone in the hall. Their fears, their desires, their darkest dreams. And she could reach out and make them real. Not yet, she told herself. Wait for the right moment. One of the traitor wolves got past a guard and its claws raked across her arm. Pain exploded through her. Blood soaked into the white silk of her gown. Celeste. Daemon's anguished howl echoed through the hall. She saw him trying to reach her, but 3 wolves had him pinned down. This was it. The moment from her vision. The moment where she had to choose. Save Daemon and risk losing herself, or let him die. But it wasn't really a choice at all, was it? Celeste closed her eyes and opened herself to the power completely. She felt it flood through her. Pure, terrible, magnificent. The moon goddess's gift in its full glory. And she reached into Daemon's mind. She saw his deepest fantasy, not the romantic ones from before, but his warrior fantasy. The one where he was unstoppable. Where his power was absolute. Where no enemy could stand against him. Celeste took that fantasy and made it real. Silver light exploded from her body. It washed over Daemon, and his wolf transformed. He grew larger, more powerful, his eyes blazing like red suns. The 3 wolves that had been pinning him down were thrown back like toys. Daemon, enhanced by Celeste's power, became the perfect warrior from his own imagination. He moved through the enemy wolves like death itself, each blow precise and devastating. No wasted motion. No mercy. But Celeste could feel the power draining her. Feel pieces of herself starting to fray at the edges. The moon goddess had warned her, every fantasy she manifested would take a piece of her soul. She'd given Daemon his fantasy. Now she needed to end this fight before she gave away too much. Celeste reached out with her power again, this time targeting Raven's warriors. She dove into their minds and found their fears. Every wolf has fears, primal, instinctive terrors buried deep. And Celeste made those fears real. The attacking wolves suddenly froze, their eyes going wide with terror. They were seeing things that weren't there, monsters from their nightmares, made manifest by Celeste's gift. Some of them broke and ran. Others collapsed, whimpering. The battle turned in an instant. But the cost was devastating. Celeste felt herself splintering. Felt her sense of self becoming fuzzy at the edges. She'd promised Daemon she would stop before she lost herself completely. She needed to stop. Now. But then she saw Raven shifting, saw her massive raven-black wolf charging straight at Daemon's exposed back while he was finishing off another attacker. No. Not him. She wouldn't let Raven hurt him. Celeste reached one more time. She dove into Raven's mind and saw something unexpected. Beneath all the rage and jealousy and hatred, Raven's deepest fantasy was simple. She just wanted to be loved. Truly, genuinely loved. And in her fantasy, it was Daemon who loved her. Celeste could have used that against her. Could have twisted that fantasy into something ugly, something that would break Raven completely. Instead, she did something that surprised even herself. She showed Raven the truth. She pulled the mate bond between herself and Daemon into the open, made it visible, made Raven feel exactly what they felt for each other. It wasn't cruelty. It was honesty. And sometimes, honesty is the cruelest cut of all. Raven's wolf stopped dead, mere feet from Daemon. And Celeste saw the moment when Raven truly understood. This wasn't politics, wasn't strategy. Daemon genuinely loved Celeste. The kind of love Raven had always wanted but would never have. Raven shifted back to human form, naked and trembling. "You really love her," she whispered, and tears were streaming down her face. "All these years, I thought you were incapable of love. But you were just incapable of loving me." Daemon, still in his enhanced wolf form, shifted back as Celeste's power began to fade. "I'm sorry, Raven," he said, and he actually sounded it. "I never meant to hurt you. But I can't love someone just because it's convenient or strategic. And Celeste, she's my fated mate. My choice. My queen." Raven looked at Celeste, and the hatred in her eyes was gone. In its place was just sadness. "I hope you know what you have," she said quietly. "I hope you treasure it. Because that kind of love is rare." Then she turned to her remaining warriors, the ones who hadn't fled or been knocked unconscious. "We're leaving. Stand down. This fight is over." As Raven's forces retreated, Celeste felt Daemon's arms around her, holding her up. She hadn't even realized she was falling. "I've got you," he murmured. "I've got you. You did it. You saved us." But Celeste could barely hear him. The world was spinning. She'd used her power 3 times, once for Daemon, once for the warriors, once for Raven. And each time had taken something from her. She could feel the pieces of herself that were missing now. Holes in her soul where there used to be wholeness. "Daemon," she whispered. "I can't. I don't." "What's wrong?" His voice was frantic. Celeste, talk to me. I'm forgetting, she said, and tears streamed down her face. I'm forgetting things. Important things. I can't remember. I can't remember my mother's name. Or where I grew up. Or, oh goddess, demon, I'm losing myself. Just like she warned me. Demon's face went white. No. No, this isn't happening. I won't let this happen. He picked her up and ran from the hall, shouting for healers. The gathered alphas parted before him, their expressions ranging from shock to pity to concern. The coronation had ended in blood and chaos. The queen-to-be was dying, losing pieces of her soul with every passing moment. And Daemon Nightshade, the Alpha King who had never shown weakness, was breaking apart. They laid Celeste in the queen's chambers and summoned every healer in the fortress. But none of them could help. This wasn't a physical wound. This was soul damage, and there was no cure for that. Celeste drifted in and out of consciousness. When she was awake, she would look at Demon and sometimes know who he was. Other times, she would look at him with confused, frightened eyes and ask why a stranger was in her room. It was destroying him. There has to be something, Demon growled at the head healer for the 10th time. A spell. A ritual. Something. Alpha King, the healer said gently. She used goddess-given power 3 times in quick succession. That kind of magic always demands payment. She gave pieces of her soul to manifest those fantasies. Those pieces are simply gone. There's no getting them back. Then she'll live without them, Demon said desperately. So she's missing some memories. We'll make new ones. So she's lost part of herself. We'll help her build a new self. It doesn't matter. As long as she's alive. It does matter, a new voice said. Everyone turned to find Raven standing in the doorway. Demon's guards moved to block her, but Raven held up her hands. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to help. If you'll let me. Why would you help her? Demon demanded. You tried to kill her 2 hours ago. And she could have destroyed me, Raven replied. She had the power. She was in my mind, Demon. She could have twisted my fantasy into something horrible. Could have broken me completely. Instead, she showed me the truth with compassion. Even when I was trying to kill you both, she showed me mercy. Raven moved closer to the bed, looking down at Celeste's pale face. I don't love you anymore, Demon. Seeing your bond, feeling what you two have, it made me realize I never really loved you at all. I loved the idea of you. The power. The status. But what you and Celeste have, that's real love. And I was trying to destroy it because I was jealous of something I never truly understood. Touching speech, Demon said coldly. But it doesn't help Celeste. Actually, it might, Raven said. Because I know something about soul magic that your healers apparently don't. When someone gives away pieces of their soul, those pieces don't just disappear. They go into whatever or whoever they were used on. Celeste used her power to enhance you, Demon. Which means part of her soul is now anchored in you. Do you understand what that means? Demon stared at her. No. It means you can give it back, Raven said. The mate bond works both ways. If part of her soul is in you, you can return it through the bond. But it requires a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Your power, Raven said bluntly. Everything that makes you the Alpha King. Your strength. Your dominance. Your connection to your wolf. You'll be giving it all to her to create a bridge, a pathway for her soul pieces to return. And once you do that, you'll be ordinary. Just a man. No alpha power. No throne. Nothing. The room went deathly silent. And if I don't? Demon asked quietly. Then she continues to fade until there's nothing left but an empty shell. She'll be alive, technically. But everything that makes her Celeste will be gone. Demon looked down at Celeste. Even unconscious, she looked fragile. Broken. This was his fault. He'd let her use her power. He'd failed to protect her. How do I do it? He asked. Demon, no. Marcus stepped forward. You can't give up your power. The realm needs you. The pack needs you. Without your strength, the realm can find another king, Demon interrupted. But I'll never find another her. He turned to Raven. Tell me how. Raven explained the ritual. It was simple in theory, brutal in practice. Demon would have to open himself completely through the mate bond, offer up everything he was, and trust that Celeste's soul pieces would find their way home through the connection. The risk was that he might give too much, might burn out his wolf entirely, might even die in the process. I don't care, Demon said when Raven warned him. I'll risk it. Of course you will, Raven said softly. Because you love her. Really, truly love her. The way I always wanted to be loved. She helped him prepare. They cleared the room of everyone except Marcus, who refused to leave. Demon lay down beside Celeste on the bed and took her hand. If I don't survive this, he said to Marcus, the throne goes to you. Take care of the pack. Be better than I was. You were the best alpha we ever had, Marcus said, his voice thick. No, Demon said. I was the strongest. There's a difference. Now, everyone be quiet. I need to concentrate. He closed his eyes and opened himself to the mate bond completely. It was there, still strong despite everything. A golden thread connecting his soul to hers. And through that thread, he could feel her. Or rather, he could feel the missing pieces of her. They were tangled up in his own soul, confused, trying to find their way home. Demon began to push his power into the bond. All of it. His alpha strength, his dominance, his connection to his wolf. Everything that made him the Alpha King. He poured it into the golden thread like water into a vessel, creating a bridge of pure energy. And slowly, painfully, Celeste's soul pieces began to move. They traveled along the bridge of power, following the mate bond back to where they belonged. But the cost was devastating. Demon could feel his wolf withdrawing, growing distant. Could feel his strength draining away. Could feel himself becoming less with every passing second. It hurt. Goddess, it hurt. Like being torn apart from the inside. But he didn't stop. He kept pushing, kept giving, kept sacrificing everything he was for the woman he loved. The last thing Demon felt before darkness claimed him was Celeste's hand squeezing his. And then nothing. Celeste woke with a gasp. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. Then memories flooded back. All of them. Her childhood. Her mother's name was Elena. She grew up in the Western Territory. She loved reading by the river. She met Demon at the Harvest Moon Festival. All the pieces were back. She was whole again. Demon, she called out, then realized he was lying beside her, unconscious. Demon. Marcus and the healers rushed in. He completed the ritual, Marcus said, his voice strained. He gave you back the pieces of your soul. But the cost. What cost? Celeste demanded. What happened to him? He gave up his alpha power, one of the healers said gently. All of it. To create a bridge for your soul pieces to return. He's just a man now, Your Majesty. No wolf. No strength. Just demon. Celeste felt her heart break and soar at the same time. He'd sacrificed everything for her. Everything. She took his hand and poured her own energy into him through the mate bond. Wake up, she whispered. Please wake up. You saved me. Now let me save you. For a long, terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then Demon's eyes fluttered open. Celeste. His voice was weak, hoarse. Did it work? Are you? I'm whole, she said, tears streaming down her face. You brought me back. But Demon, your power. I don't care about the power, Demon interrupted. I only care about you. Tell me you're really back. Tell me you remember everything. I remember, Celeste said. I remember it all. My name is Celeste Ravenna. I love you. And you're the most incredible, selfless, amazing man I've ever met. Demon smiled weakly. Not a man. Just Demon. Not even a wolf anymore. I can feel it. My wolf is gone. Burned out when I gave you my power. His voice cracked. I'm sorry. I know you wanted a strong mate. An alpha. And now I'm perfect, Celeste finished firmly. You're perfect. I don't need you to be an alpha, Demon. I just need you to be mine. We'll figure out the rest together. Demon pulled her close, holding her like she was the most precious thing in existence. I love you, he whispered. More than power. More than the throne. More than anything. I love you too, Celeste said. And I have an idea. About how to fix this. About how to give you back what you lost. Celeste, no, Demon said immediately. I won't let you sacrifice yourself again. I'm not sacrificing anything, Celeste said. I'm sharing. The power you gave me, your alpha strength, it's still here, inside me. I can feel it. And through the mate bond, I can share it with you. Not all of it. But enough. Enough that we can both be strong. Both be whole. Both be equals. She placed her hand on his chest, over his heart. Trust me. Demon searched her eyes, then nodded. Always. Celeste closed her eyes and reached into the well of power inside her. The alpha strength Demon had given her. She took half of it and pushed it back through the mate bond, into him. The effect was immediate. Demon gasped as power flooded back into him. Not as much as he'd had before, but enough. Enough to feel his wolf stirring again, weak but present. Enough to feel strength returning to his limbs. When Celeste opened her eyes, they were glowing silver. And when Demon opened his, they were glowing red. What did you do? He breathed. I made us equal, Celeste said. We're both alphas now. We'll rule together, as true partners. Not king and queen. Alpha king and alpha queen. Equals in power. Equals in love. Marcus, who had been watching from the doorway, laughed in disbelief. The council is going to lose their minds. Let them, Demon said, pulling Celeste into a fierce kiss. When they finally broke apart, he said, You're right. We'll rule together. As equals. As partners. As mates. 3 days later, they held the coronation again. This time, the great hall was filled with a very different energy. Word had spread about what happened, how Celeste had saved everyone with her gift, how Demon had sacrificed his power for her, how they now shared alpha strength equally. Some alphas were horrified. Others were intrigued. But most were simply respectful. Because what Demon and Celeste had done, sacrificing everything for each other, was the kind of love that legends were made of. Raven Blackthorn attended, but this time she sat in the audience quietly. When Celeste's eyes met hers, Raven nodded respectfully. Not friends, perhaps, but no longer enemies. The High Priest performed the ceremony again. We gather to witness the coronation of Celeste Ravenna, chosen mate of Daemon Nightshade, and Alpha Queen of the Werewolf realm. This time, when he asked if anyone opposed, there was only silence. Daemon placed the crown on Celeste's head, and it fit perfectly. Then, in an unprecedented move, Celeste took a second crown, one that had been made specially, and placed it on Daemon's head. "You're already a king," she said softly. "But now you're a king who's chosen to rule with compassion as well as strength. Who's chosen love over power. Who's shown every wolf here what it really means to sacrifice for what you believe in." The hall erupted in applause. When the ceremony ended, Daemon pulled Celeste aside into a quiet corridor. "So," he said, "we're actually doing this. You're my queen. I'm your king. We're ruling together. Having second thoughts?" Celeste teased. "Never," Daemon said firmly. "But I need to ask you something. Your gift, the power to make fantasies real, are you going to use it again?" Celeste considered. "Only in emergencies. And never alone. If I use it, you'll be there to anchor me. To pull me back if I start to lose myself. Because that's what partners do, right? We keep each other grounded." "Right," Daemon agreed. "We keep each other grounded, sane, and honest." He paused. "There's one more thing. My wolf came back, but he's different now. Quieter. Less aggressive. I think when I gave up my power and got some back from you, my wolf changed. He's not the monster he used to be." "Good," Celeste said. "I liked you as a monster. But I love you as a man even more. Even though I'm not the all-powerful Alpha King anymore." "Especially because you're not," Celeste said. "Because now you're just Daemon. My Daemon. The wolf who talks to me by the river. The king who chose love over everything else. The man who saw someone everyone else called worthless and decided she was worth the entire world." Daemon kissed her then, soft and sweet and full of promise. "I have a confession," he whispered against her lips. "What?" "That first fantasy you saw in my mind? The one where you made me beg?" "Yes. I still have that fantasy," Daemon said, his voice dropping to a purr. "And now that you're officially my queen, now that we're equals in every way, I was hoping maybe we could explore it properly." Celeste felt heat flood through her. "Is that a request, Alpha King?" "It's an invitation, Alpha Queen." "Then I accept," Celeste said. "But first, we have a realm to rule. Alliances to rebuild. A pack to lead. Tomorrow," Daemon said, "we have the rest of our lives to rule. Tonight, I just want to be with you. Just Daemon and Celeste. No crowns. No thrones. Just us." "Just us," Celeste agreed. They walked back to their chambers hand in hand, leaving behind the politics and the power and the weight of their crowns. For tonight, they were just two people who loved each other, who had fought for each other, who had sacrificed everything and gained even more in return. Tomorrow, they would face the challenges of ruling together. Tomorrow, they would navigate the complicated politics of the werewolf realm. Tomorrow they would be Alpha King and Alpha Queen. But tonight, they were simply Daemon and Celeste. And that was enough. A week after the coronation, Raven Blackthorn requested a private audience. Celeste and Daemon received her in a small sitting room, not the formal throne room. This wasn't about politics. This was personal. "I'm leaving the realm," Raven said without preamble. "Taking my pack to the Northern Territories. Starting fresh." "Why?" Celeste asked gently. "Because staying here, seeing you two together every day, it's a reminder of what I'll never have," Raven said honestly. "And I'm tired of being bitter. Tired of being angry. I want to find something real for myself. Not a political arrangement. Not a strategic alliance. Real love. If it even exists for someone like me." "It exists for everyone," Celeste said. "Even you, Raven. You just have to be brave enough to be vulnerable. To let down your walls. To stop trying to control everything and just feel." Raven laughed bitterly. "Easier said than done." "Everything worth having is," Daemon said quietly. "Believe me, I know." Raven looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time without anger or jealousy clouding her vision. "You're different," she observed. "Not weaker. Just softer. More human." "Celeste changed me," Daemon admitted. "She made me realize that being strong doesn't mean being invulnerable. It means being brave enough to be vulnerable with the right person." "I hope I find that someday," Raven said. Then she turned to Celeste. "I owe you an apology. A real one. I tried to kill you. Multiple times. I sent assassins. I plotted and schemed and did everything in my power to destroy you. And when you had the chance to destroy me in return, you showed me mercy." "You were hurting," Celeste said simply. Hurt people. I understood that." "Still," Raven said, "you're a better person than I am. A better alpha. And you'll be an amazing queen." She stood and bowed formally, not to Daemon, but to Celeste. "I pledge that the Blackthorn Pack will never move against you again. You have my word." "Thank you," Celeste said. "And Raven, when you find your love, and you will, send us an invitation to the mating ceremony. I'd like to celebrate with you." Raven's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I will," she promised. Then she left, closing the door quietly behind her. Daemon pulled Celeste into his lap. "You're too kind," he said. "She tried to kill you, and you're inviting her to her future mating ceremony?" "Everyone deserves a second chance," Celeste said. "You gave me one when you refused to reject me. I'm just passing that gift forward." "This is why you'll be a better ruler than I ever was," Daemon said. "You lead with your heart. I only ever led with strategy." "No," Celeste corrected. "You led with both. You just didn't realize it. Every decision you made was to protect your pack. That's heart, Daemon. You just called it duty." "Semantics," Daemon said, but he was smiling. "Important semantics," Celeste insisted. "You were never the monster you thought you were. You were just a king who'd never been shown that it was okay to be human too." Daemon pulled her closer. "I love you," he said. "Have I mentioned that recently?" "Not in the last hour," Celeste teased. "Then I'm slipping. I love you, Celeste Nightshade. My mate. My queen. My equal. My everything." "I love you too, Daemon Nightshade. My mate. My king. My equal. My everything." They sat like that for a long time, wrapped in each other's arms, content in the knowledge that they'd found something rare and precious. Something worth fighting for. Something worth sacrificing for. Real, true, unconditional love. That night, Celeste woke to find silver moonlight flooding their chambers. She slipped out of bed, careful not to wake Daemon, and went to the window. The moon was full and brilliant, and as she stared at it, she heard the familiar voice. "Well done, daughter," the moon goddess said. "You passed the test." "Test?" Celeste asked. "This was all a test." "Not all of it," the goddess clarified. "The love was real. The danger was real. The choices were real. But I needed to know if you were strong enough, both of you, to wield the power I've given you without letting it corrupt you." "And?" Celeste asked. "And you both proved yourselves worthy. Daemon by sacrificing his power for love. You by choosing to share rather than hoard that power. Together, you've created something new. A partnership of equals. The first true equal alpha pairing in 1,000 years." The moon goddess's presence grew stronger. "I have a gift for you. For both of you. A blessing for your union." "We don't need anything else," Celeste said. "We have each other. That's enough." "Perhaps," the goddess said. "But I'm giving it anyway. Your gift, the power to make fantasies real. I'm removing the cost. You can use it freely now without losing pieces of yourself. Because you've proven you won't abuse it. You'll only use it when necessary. When it can help rather than harm." Celeste felt tears spring to her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "And for Daemon," the goddess continued. "I'm restoring his wolf to full strength. Not the monster he was before, but something better. A balance of power and compassion. Strength and mercy. He'll be the Alpha King you both deserve to lead beside." "He's already that," Celeste said. "But thank you." "One more thing," the goddess said, and there was a smile in her voice. "You're carrying his child. A daughter. She'll be born under the next full moon, and she'll have gifts that combine both of yours. She'll see fantasies and have the strength to protect those who can't protect themselves. She'll be the bridge between the old ways and the new." Celeste's hand flew to her stomach. "A daughter," she breathed. "A daughter," the goddess confirmed. "Raise her well. Teach her that power without love is tyranny, but love without strength is vulnerability. Teach her to be both fierce and kind. And tell her that she's blessed by the moon herself." "I will," Celeste promised. "We both will." "I know," the goddess said. "That's why I chose you, Celeste. Not because you were strong. Not because you were powerful. But because even when everyone called you worthless, you never stopped believing you had value. You never stopped fighting for what you knew was right. And that, my daughter, is the truest strength of all." The presence faded, and Celeste was alone with the moonlight again. She turned to find Daemon awake, watching her from the bed. "How much did you hear?" she asked. "All of it," Daemon said, his voice thick with emotion. "We're having a daughter?" "We're having a daughter," Celeste confirmed. Daemon was at her side in an instant, pulling her into his arms, his hand covering hers on her stomach. "A daughter," he repeated wonderingly. "What should we name her?" "Luna," Celeste said immediately. "After the first wolf. After the moon goddess who brought us together. Luna Nightshade." "Luna Nightshade," Daemon repeated, testing the name. Then he smiled, a real smile, full of joy and hope and love. "It's perfect. She's perfect. You're perfect. Everything is perfect." "Not perfect," Celeste corrected. "But real. And honest. And ours." They stood together in the moonlight, planning for a future they'd both nearly lost. Talking about their daughter. About the kind of parents they wanted to be. about the kind of realm they wanted to build for her to grow up in. And for the first time in both their lives, they weren't afraid of the future. Because whatever came, they would face it together. As equals. As partners. As mates. As Demon and Celeste Nightshade, Alpha King and Alpha Queen of the werewolf realm. And as the parents of Luna Nightshade, who would one day carry their legacy forward into a new era. 1 year later, the Silver Crest Pack was unrecognizable. Under Celeste and Demon's joint rule, the rigid hierarchy had softened. Omegas were valued for their unique skills. Strength was measured not just in combat ability but in compassion, creativity, and contribution to the pack. Other packs were watching, some with approval, others with skepticism. But slowly, the ideas were spreading. The old ways were changing. Luna Nightshade was 6 months old, with her father's dark hair and her mother's silver eyes. She already showed signs of her gifts. Sometimes when she cried, wolves across the territory would report seeing visions of what she wanted. A bottle. A toy. Her parents' attention. "She's going to be powerful," Marcus observed one afternoon, watching as baby Luna made her stuffed wolf toy float across the room with nothing but her will. "She's going to be loved," Celeste corrected, catching the toy and handing it back to her daughter. "The power will come. But first, she needs to learn that she's valued just for being herself. Not for what she can do. For who she is." Wise words from an Alpha Queen who once thought she was worthless, a familiar voice said. Celeste turned to find Raven Blackthorn standing in the doorway, but she wasn't alone. A tall, scarred warrior stood beside her, his hand clasped in hers. "Raven," Celeste said in surprise. "I didn't know you were coming." "Surprise visit," Raven said with a smile. A real smile, warm and genuine. "I wanted you to meet Cale Ironheart. My mate. My real mate." "Fated?" Demon asked, interest clear in his voice. "Fated," Raven confirmed. "I found him in the Northern Territories. He's from a small pack, no political connections, no strategic value." She laughed. "Sound familiar?" "Congratulations," Celeste said warmly. "When's the mating ceremony?" "Next month," Raven said. "And yes, you're both invited. Actually, I was hoping you'd officiate, Celeste. Since you're the one who taught me that real love was worth more than political alliances." "I'd be honored," Celeste said. They spent the afternoon together, sharing stories. Raven told them about her new life in the north. Demon shared updates on the realm's politics. And through it all, baby Luna watched with those knowing silver eyes, as if she understood every word. As evening fell and Raven prepared to leave, she pulled Celeste aside. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for showing me mercy when I deserved none. For teaching me that love was real. For being the kind of queen, the kind of person that I aspire to be." "You're already that person," Celeste said. "You just needed to believe it." After Raven left, Celeste found Demon on the balcony, watching the sunset. Luna was in his arms, babbling contentedly. "What are you thinking about?" Celeste asked, wrapping her arms around them both. "About how my life turned out nothing like I planned," Demon said. "And how grateful I am for that. I thought power was everything. Thought strength meant being invulnerable. Thought love was weakness. And now," Celeste prompted, "now I know that real power comes from having something worth protecting. Real strength comes from being vulnerable with the right person. And love." He looked down at Luna, then at Celeste. "Love is the only thing that makes any of this worthwhile. When did you become such a romantic?" Celeste teased. When I met a woman who talked to the moon and saw value in a monster, Demon replied. She changed everything. Made me believe in things I thought were myths. Made me want to be better than I was. Made me realize that being loved was worth more than being feared. I love you, Celeste said simply. I love you too, Demon replied. Today. Tomorrow. Forever. In this life and whatever comes after. Luna chose that moment to reach up and grab both their faces, giggling as if she understood exactly what they were saying. As if she knew that she was born from a love that had conquered everything. Pride, fear, hatred, and death itself. The moon rose over the territory, full and bright. And somewhere in that silver light, the moon goddess smiled. Because this was why she'd chosen Celeste all those years ago. Not because she was strong or powerful or special. But because even when she was called worthless, even when she was alone and afraid, Celeste Ravenna had never stopped believing in love. And that belief had changed everything. In the end, Celeste and Demon's story teaches us many truths. It teaches us that the opinions of others don't define our worth. Celeste was called worthless for years, but she never let that destroy her sense of self. She knew, deep in her soul, that she had value, even when no one else could see it. It teaches us that real strength isn't about being invulnerable. Demon was the most powerful alpha in the realm, but his true strength only emerged when he allowed himself to be vulnerable with Celeste. When he chose love over power. When he sacrificed everything for what truly mattered. It teaches us that love isn't about control. It's about trust. About letting your partner make their own choices, even dangerous ones. About being equals, not master and servant. It teaches us that everyone deserves a second chance. Even Raven, who tried to destroy them, was shown mercy. And that mercy transformed her, allowed her to find her own happiness, her own real love. And perhaps most importantly, it teaches us that the greatest power we have isn't magical gifts or alpha strength or political influence. The greatest power we have is the choice to love, even when it's hard. Even when it costs us everything. Even when the entire world tells us we're wrong. Because love, real, true, unconditional love, can change the world. It changed Celeste from a nobody into a queen. It changed Demon from a monster into a man. It changed Raven from an enemy into a friend. And it will change Luna, their daughter, into someone who carries that legacy forward. Your value doesn't come from what others say about you. It comes from who you choose to be. And if you choose to be brave enough to love, to be vulnerable, to fight for what truly matters, you can change your entire world. Never give up on love. Never give up on yourself. And never, ever let anyone convince you that you're worthless. Because you're not. You're worth everything. And that concludes the epic tale of She Hid Her All Fantasies from the Alpha King, until he lost control. Now I need to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your favorite moment? Was it when Celeste revealed her silver power? When Demon sacrificed everything? When Raven found her own love? Or the revelation about baby Luna? What shocked you the most? The traitors? The soul sacrifice? The moon goddess's blessing? And most importantly, would you sacrifice everything for the one you love? Be honest. I want to know. If this story moved you, if it made you believe in the power of love and sacrifice and second chances, then absolutely smash that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel for more dark romance stories that push boundaries and explore what happens when love and power collide. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another epic tale. Share this video with someone who believes in fighting for love against all odds. Share it with someone who's ever been called worthless but refused to believe it. Share it with someone who needs to hear that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Check out the rest of our werewolf romance collection in the playlist linked in the description. We have stories about forbidden mates, rejected bonds, second chance romance, and so much more. Remember, you are not defined by others' opinions. You are defined by your choices. Choose love. Choose courage. Choose to be the hero of your own story. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and with Celeste and Demon's journey. Your support means everything. Until next time, keep believing in the impossible. Keep fighting for what matters. And keep loving fearlessly. This is the end of She Hid Her All Fantasies from the Alpha King, until he lost control. Now go out there and write your own legendary love story.